I know when people first get diagnosed with genital herpes, their first reaction is they want to sue the person who gave it to them, especially if that person gave it to them while knowing they had it and not disclosing, or cheating, or anything that's kind of just bad. So I'm going to give a brief overview on why that's almost impossible to do and why I do not recommend doing that. First off, contrary to popular belief, it is not illegal for me to not disclose my herpes status. There is no law anywhere saying that I have to disclose, especially something like herpes, because herpes is not a deadly disease. HIV is a little bit different, and it does differ per state. Some states do have stricter laws when it comes to disclosure, but for the most part, most of them do not. So you can do something like a personal lawsuit, but that's even harder to do because basically whoever has the better lawyer wins. And there's also a bunch of things that you need to prove that are almost next to impossible to prove. The first thing you need to prove is that you did not have herpes prior to sleeping with that person, which that sounds easy enough because it's like, oh, I could just show my negative herpes test. But you also need to prove that you did not sleep with someone in between getting that negative herpes test and sleeping with the person. That seems like it's easy to do, but unless you get like a notarized documentation every time you sleep with someone or every time you don't sleep with someone, it's almost impossible. It's more of a he said, she said, because all your ex has to do is be like, no, she slept with some other guy, and there's no way to prove that you didn't sleep with them. But if you do get past all that, you then need to prove that that person not only had herpes prior to sleeping with you, which is almost impossible to do if they've never gotten tested prior because they don't know, and that you weren't the one who gave it to him or brought it into the relationship. Because if that person has no prior testing and has no positive herpes test, there's no way to know that you're not the one who gave it to him. But let's say you have a text message proof that says, yeah, I knew I had herpes, I gave it to you, or you saw his Valtrax bottle, so you know he knew he had herpes. You also have to prove that you didn't sleep with anybody after him who could have given you herpes, or that you didn't cheat on him with someone who could have given you herpes, which yet again is more of a he said, she said, really hard to prove that. But even if you do get the proof for all of that, they can still toss out the case because herpes is not considered a deadly disease or something that really affects your life, so they could just toss the whole case even after proving all of that stuff. Or the most you'll get is like a settlement, you'll get some money, but you're not going to really get much out of it. So why I don't recommend you even trying is because you're just going to drag out something that's not going to really have a positive outcome. Even if you do get the best case scenario where you do get money and you win the lawsuit, at the end of the day, you spent almost close to a year and tons of money just trying to sue this person, and it's not helping you heal at all. Because every day you're constantly thinking about the lawsuit, you're constantly thinking about your herpes, you're constantly thinking about the person who maliciously gave you herpes. And they're not going to go to prison or anything like that because it's not a criminal offense. So no one's going to prison. The most you're going to do is get some money, and that's about it. But you're going to go through a lot of heartache, headache, and have all your personal business dragged out for everybody to hear, a courtroom, your family members, your friends, your ex. You're going to have to deal with all of that for months. So at the end of the day, it's really not worth it.